Hello and welcome to Bosch Professional Live. I'm Danny.
And I'm Chris, and today I've got a special guest on Q&A. We have got Sophia.
Hi everyone, my name's Sophia. I'll be on Q&A today. Feel free to drop any questions in the chat below.
So Chris, what are we doing this time?
Well, as we've got the special guest of Sophia, who is actually our measuring tool intern, we're going to be looking at our expert range of measuring tools. The previous live stream, which I know you all really loved because we got lots of feedback, good and bad, mostly good of course. We had so many expert products that we couldn't even pretend that we were going to be able to fit any more products in there. So we decided that this live stream is going to be specifically looking at the expert range of our measuring tools. Nice.
Yeah, no, looking forward to it. Plenty to talk about as well.
That's
so
right,
cover
yeah.
all sorts of different subjects in this one. Yeah.
Right, because this is an expert live stream and specifically this is focusing on the measuring tools, we are obviously going to be fielding as many questions as we can. However, Sophia has been given strict orders to prioritize the expert measuring tool questions. Now, if you do have questions for general things, maybe we'll see if we've got time at the end of the live stream to cover that. However, because this live stream will obviously become a video at a later date, we want to make sure that anyone stumbles upon it, or actually comes looking for this expert live stream, we obviously want to be addressing predominantly expert measuring tool questions.
Yeah.
However, in the next couple of months, we'll also be doing a Q&A live stream. So if you want to reserve those questions for that live stream on general Bosch Professional and expert questions, feel free to drop it in then.
Or pop it in the comments underneath the live stream when it goes to video. That way we can address the questions when we come around to that Q&A live stream as well.
That's right. Okay, well, before we get started, the obvious thing we always do is, Sophia, have we got any people in the chat, any of our regulars?
So in the chat right now, I can see PF Cutters and Bernie also in the chat. Jordan is also in the chat.
Nice. Well, Jordan's in the chat. Hello.
Yeah.
Good man.
Yep.
I can see we've got Dave's Workbench UK and obviously Radine. We've got all the usual people. So I'm glad you've come to join us for this expert measuring tool live stream. In the past, we've realized that some people, they don't seem to like the measuring tools as much. But however, I think we usually convince them otherwise, and we've been doing really well over the last couple of years, getting people to buy in to measuring tools generally.
I think the thing is with measuring tools is you can get by doing the job without them.
People have for many years.
People have indeed for many years. However, they do make life a whole lot easier.
There's a few products obviously make life a lot easier, but also we're going to be covering tools that literally you cannot do your job properly if you don't have them. If you're doing them without, if you're doing things without multimeters, and you're guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, right. So let's get into it. First off, obviously this is an expert live stream, so I think we have to address the elephant in the room. So Danny, if professional products, pro products are for professionals, then what the hell is this expert malarkey about?
The expert terminology refers to the fact that these are top tier products. So again, more technical stuff, more capabilities, more functions, more benefits to yourselves.
That's right. Now you'll see some products that you might think, oh, that's just a rebadge. And you had some criticism on our professional and expert power tools, where there were one or two products that were, as you would call it, just re-stickered, although we argued it wasn't technically that, because those products were already the best of class.
We already produced the best model that we do.
Now,
so again, it's not going to remain in the pro category. That's then moved to this new expert category.
However, what you're going to notice throughout the entirety of this live stream is the vast majority, all but one in fact, are entirely new products that offer enhanced specifications and, more importantly, more modes and functions compared to whatever would have been whatever is the professional pro, say, electrical tester, for example.
And in some cases, so much more.
Exactly. Now, we've had some feedback in regards to some of the products that we brought out in the electrical testing category, for example, and people were saying, oh, I like it, I really like what you've done, however, it doesn't have X, Y, Z. And we've been saying for the last few months, hey, get ready, right? Because we obviously had to stay quiet in regards to this launch of new products that actually will have all the functionality that you would expect from us.
Yeah.
Again, last little bit before we get really into the live stream, and as always, what we're doing is kind of just easing in, because we know everyone can't join us bang on 5 o'clock. No, we know people are coming in. We're always aware that people will join the live stream as we get on. Important to point out, exclusivity for Screwfix. So that's the question. Where do I buy these products? Just like the expert expert power tools, it's going to be the same for the expert measuring tools as well. At the moment, at least for the next year, Screwfix has exclusivity over Expert measuring tools as well.
Exactly. So you order them via the website and they're delivered to your door.
If not, you can obviously, or to store, of course.
Or to store, yeah.
Okay, right. So that's all the preamble, blah sorted out. I think what we need to do really is get stuck in.
I think so.
Now, the first product I want to get stuck into is going to be this bad boy here. This is our brand new Expert multimeter, or digital multimeter. This is going to be the EXDM600-17. Now, as you already know, we've got the new naming structure. So EX is going to be an Expert product. This is DM because it's a digital multimeter. 600 is because this device is designed to be safe up to 600 volts.
Yes.
Category 3. And 17 is generation 1 because it's the first of its type. And 7 means it's how many, well, it's a performance differentiator.
It's a feature set. It doesn't stand for a specific set of features. However, the higher the number, the more advanced the machine is, the more functions that it has.
That's right. As it is 17, essentially this means generation 1, and 7 is basically the top number. And of course it is. It's an Expert machine, so it's going to be have the highest value.
So if we put that up against the predecessor model here, we've got the GDM 600-15. Again, first generation, 5 feature sets, lower number, less features.
Okay, right. So what have I got? Well, you can see it looks very similar. However, I've got IP65.
I've got IP65 as well.
Yeah, I've got a 2-meter drop test.
And so have I as well, 2 meter.
I have the inverted LCD display.
I've got to check there's batteries in this now. But yes, I also have an inverted display.
I checked.
I'm glad you did.
Okay, I've got a dual power source, so this can run on AA's, but I can also use the little lithium-ion battery pack.
Hey, I can do that as well.
Well, but can you do temperature measurement?
No, I can't.
9.
I cannot do temperature measurement.
But can you do microamps?
No, I can't do that either.
Shame. So if you're a HVAC engineer, I can imagine that temperature measurement and also the ability to do microamps would be beneficial. Okay, I can do diode testing.
I can't do that.
Bad luck. I can also do LOS.
Yeah, can't do that either.
Oh dear. Okay, I have an increased. I can do increased resistance up to 60 megaohms. Thank you. I think you can, but only to 40. Yeah.
Yes, 40. Yes.
Okay, and well, to be honest, I think you can also do this, but mine comes already included with the magnetic hanger.
See, I had to order mine separately.
Yeah, so, okay, fun side aside, fun bit to aside. You can see that obviously that the Expert product has all the features that the standard Pro.
Yep.
I don't want to say standard in a bad way, it's a great tool, but the Pro GDM 600-15 has. However, it has all those additional features that would be a benefit if that's what your job requires.
Exactly. For this, I mean, I originally come from the motor industry. This would be perfect. This does everything I would want it to do. However, I can see working for the HVAC industry or many other industries, that's the one to go for.
Yeah.
It's got the features that I would be hungry for from those particular job requirements.
Yeah, cool. I mean, look, it comes with, as you say, it comes with your standard probes, okay, but it comes with a few other accessories as well, and we'll talk about what those offer you when we get through this presentation on this product. One of the things you get is you get this little adapter. Okay,
Yes.
we'll talk about what that is. I mean, I'll hint already. This is allow you to use K-probes.
Yep.
So how else are you going to be able to do temperature if you don't have the ability to have some kind of probe? We supply a rudimentary K-probe that does temperature here.
Yep.
However, you'll see in a minute that we are also bringing out a range of K-probes for a number of different temperature readings.
Yeah, and the beauty of that as well is you don't necessarily have to use it with a machine. They are K-probes for some of the other machines in our range, such as the GIS 1000.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so now we've always been told we must make sure that we do some demonstrations, and we are more than happy to make sure we do some demonstrations. Last time we didn't have, wheeled in Dan, last time we didn't actually have our testing bench available at the time, but luckily we do have it with us this time. It's been quite a while since we did the last live stream on electrical testers, and Dan and I did struggle a little bit because it's very hard to show the features and benefits of a product if you're not able to demonstrate them live.
Exactly.
Now, the things, I don't know whether or not we need to go through all the different features, but we can do many of them on this. But we've got down here in the DC section, we've got a number of things that we can show, such as we've got resistance, we've got diode testing, and we've also got a capacitor down there at the bottom.
Yep. Yep.
Before we get too far into it, maybe we might pause and see whether or not we've got some initial interest or questions, Sophia, on the EXDM yet? Or is everyone just patiently waiting to see us demonstrate?
We're all good in the chat so far.
Ah, good. Oh, well, no break for me then. Okay, right. So the first thing we can test, obviously, and again, it would be nice to show on the screen the fact that the the OLED, or the negative display screen, in my opinion, is really nice and clear.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've got really bright lights that catch it sometimes every now and then, but actually that's pretty okay. So
I've used this outside in direct sunlight, and it's actually been really easy to see, even in positions where you may be sort of underneath the vehicle. When I've used it before, and you're sort of almost craning round to see the display. It's clear as a bell.
Yeah. So again, actually, I should better relax and ease into it, because obviously when we did the last electrical testing live stream, there were a few people that were saying, "Oh, actually, I think you rushed through it a little bit too quickly." I'm interested in the concept of these tools, but I haven't used them before. And maybe Dan and I, or probably myself, really, we kind of blasted through it because we assumed, hey, if you're even looking at this live stream, you're probably already an electrician or you're already using these tools. And that was an oversight from my side, because I realized actually maybe we should take the opportunity, like we're going to do today, to go through some of the features and show how the tools work and how people use them. Yeah. Because maybe... To be fair, last time we didn't actually have this testing to actually show as well, so obviously that makes it a lot easier. Let's start off with the fundamentals, okay? One of the things I really like about the tool, okay, is the fact that you are able to switch it on and go through the modes single-handedly. Okay, that's one-handed operation. Means obviously when it's facing yourself there, you're probably going to use your thumb. Okay, but you can also, I can use my fingers this way as well, just to spin it around. Yeah, really nice. The actual ergonomics of this product, just like the standard Pro version, is the same here. Really nice rubber grip. Again, remember it's drop rated. It's also got IP65, so you've got a lot of protection for the tool. Yes, it is a sensitive device. You need to look after it like you would any measuring tool. Yeah. However, if you are worried, this is job site proof. It's designed for professionals, and it can take a bit of a beating. They do get a little bit of a beating, especially the majority of multimeters out there. It tends to be when you put the sort of the stand up at the back, because they all tend to come with a stand. So you find a location for this, or you hang on that. It's quite easy for that to get knocked over. However, Chris is probably, I'm just going to beat you to the punch my thunder here. Already, yeah. We've got rubber feet on the bottom here, which actually stops it from sliding around. So it's a lot more stable when it's actually stood up there. There's your example there. You're hearing it bumping around. It's not going to slide if it's on a slight surface that's smooth, for example. So that's an important decision we made. Dan pointed out, it's got a nice little kickstand. Yep. Okay. It's good angle as well, so it's not going to tip over or anything. It's very well designed. Obviously, you've got your standard terminals on the front for your probes. Yep. I don't know whether or not I need to go into these too much detail, but it's clearly marked that obviously if you're using it for any of the standard modes, you obviously put this in here, and then you've got this other terminal, the red terminal here, that will do the majority of your modes. If you're going to be measuring amps, then you'll just swap it over into this. That's it. The black probe is your common. Yes, so exactly. It'll always be plugged in there. Okay, so I might as well pop them in anyway while I'm waiting. You'll see, hopefully, that, I mean, it's all pretty standard. If we cut to the close-up camera, for example, you can see that we've got clear indications on all the different functions. The ones that are in white are your standard mode, so I can switch it over to here, all right, for your AC voltage. Okay, and then if you were wanting to go to alternative mode, you've got this select button, which is in yellow. So you can see on the little wheel here, if you press that button, then I will go over to Hertz. Okay, simple as that. I don't need to change my pins. I can carry on like that. I go along here. Now, obviously, you've got your DC voltage. Okay, then you've got here your microvolts. Millivolts, thank you, sorry, my brain's, long day. Little M, yes. Okay, now we've got LOS. Okay, LOS is very useful if you want to, or if you need to eliminate, for example, a ghost voltage. That's particularly important in very low voltage applications, and you might have, if you're using this on a lot of circuit boards or PCBs or printed circuit boards, then makes it really, Right, so LOS, a little bit more accurate. Yeah, so that's for your low impedance checks, okay? If I go across even more, now we've got you've got your I've got to look at it. Sorry, you got your resistance, ohms, resistance, and continuity. Okay, so it's one of those things I can't see what I'm looking at. I have to lean around more. And then we've got our diode, and we've got our you go there. That's capacitance. Yeah, thank you. Capacitance, and you've got your diode. Yeah. Okay. You've got here. You've got microamp measurement. Okay. And as we go across now, we're into our temperatures, Celsius and Fahrenheit, and then lastly we're going into our amp modes.
Yeah.
So obviously then you would swap over your red cable to this side, and then you can also select, using the select button to go into your amp hertz.
So if you're doing this for like, using it for, say, for automotive purposes, I'm always going to use automotive as reference. You can use this as an amp draw meter as well, so you'll be able to work out what's draining your battery if there's anything draining your battery. So.
Right. Okay. So what we've got in our little demonstration is, first off, we've got a number of resistors that we can quickly test. So first things, obviously, I'm going to pop that over for resistance checks. Make sure it's in the right mode. Okay.
It's mega ohms currently, but it will self range when you.
Yeah, I'm going to change the. You've got a range button here that allows you to cycle through the different ones.
Ohms. Yeah, leave it there.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that one. Okay. Now, let's. Got that on the close-up cam. Just make sure that you can see the screen.
Do you want to?
I can stay here. It's fine. I can lean over.
We're flip sides.
Okay. Now I'm too. Okay. Let's have a look. Say on the top resistor you've got 54 ohms, 0.2. Let's go down to the one below it, which I believe is slightly different. Oh, I love live. Maybe I'll check here. This is the awkward pause and silence when I'm trying to find it to work.
Flip it round. You might have the diode the wrong way round.
Yeah, that's true.
Or not.
Yeah, well, sometimes in live TV it doesn't work always for us.
No, still open.
Oh well. Well, as I said, I'm going to... Okay.
We haven't actually checked whether that diode is actually any good. So it's quite possible.
No, I'm determined to make it work, but if it doesn't work, that's fine, because as I said, it might not be functional. It's been...
You might have identified a diode that doesn't work.
Okay, well, that was fun, wasn't it? Okay, we'll go down to diode testing. You just check it's on it. Yep, it's on diode testing. So this one down here, now this one is a bit fiddly, I remember this one, but there we go. That we can see that that's working fine.
Yep.
If I reverse it, see that I haven't got anything, so I can find out at least what direction it's running in. And lastly,
capacitance. So we want to switch that to
function. Yeah, select mode, and it should be down the bottom. Again, I know this one's a little bit fiddly. We had this little trouble a little while ago, but trying to get your microfarads appear. There we go. Cool. That's what I want to see. Okay, 509.
509 microfarads. Yeah.
Cool. Don't you love a live demo? Isn't that fun? Yes. Okay, right. Now, for the rest of the wall, you'll see there's a lot of other things we can do. So I can flip it over to here. Okay, select the other option now, so we can have
continuity. There you go.
Okay, now we've got a series of fusing stay there. It's okay, I'll lean over. Series of fuses there that I can quite easily check. Okay, and obviously if I hear a tone, that's good. So that's bad.
That's a bad one.
Yeah. Okay, and there we go. So I know that the rest of these, I've already tested this one earlier, should all be fine. I mean, I could do that and go.
Correct.
Correct. Super duper close up. Let's test it for the first time this morning or this afternoon. There you go. Yeah, I think that's broke. So that's pretty self-evident.
Yes.
Okay.
So well found.
Well done me. Pat myself on the back there for a good job done.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So looking at some additional features. Obviously, we've gone through the basic function of the multimeter. However, we've got those additional features that we didn't have on the GDM. Such as the diode testing, okay? Now, another feature we have is the fact if I remove the probes, I have this little adapter, which gives you additional features, the ability to now apply or attach our little K-probe. And I've got an example here. This is the one that gets packaged in. Simply sits into the terminals here, okay? Okay, I mean, there's only one way it can go in. It can't go in the wrong way, so don't worry. So it simply sits in there. And then I can turn this to a relevant mode. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to, there we go.
Degree C.
Degree C.
You don't have to unwind it. Just
okay. Make sure, I've got to double check the polarity. ++, okay. Because I just want to leave that on camera there. And then I've got, on this one, it's a very rudimentary probe.
Just the exposed thermistor on the end there.
That's right. So you should hopefully, if you cut to close up there, you can see that I'm holding it there. It's going to go up in temperature. 27. I think I can make that hotter. There you go.
There she goes.
Yeah, it's hot-blooded. Okay, right. important to point out that we are going to be bringing out, so this is going to be a little bit of a sneak peek, of course, because we've got a few additional probes that we are bringing to the market. Now, these are not out yet, and these are part of our Pro range. So these will be available whoever and wherever sells Bosch professional power tools, regardless. And we'll be launching these new K probes.
So these don't come under the EXPERT range. However, they are useful with this particular
Fully
machine,
compatible as their K.
as they are with the GIS range of tools as well.
So let's go off with the standard surface temperature probe. Okay. This one comes with a little cap. Check polarity. Put it in. Okay. I'm going to double check that's appearing on camera. Okay. So we cut to the close up very quickly. Okay, and you can see that this is a surface temperature probe. Okay, so you can use that too. I'll use my hand again. It's easy. Okay, so you can place that on. It's got a little bit of a spring and allows you to place that onto a surface and then get your temperature reading. It is what it says on the tin. It is a surface temperature probe. Next one up, Dan. What have you got? You got the air temperature one?
I have the air temperature one. There you go.
Cool. Okay. Same thing again.
So that's your ambient temperature. So this will be perfect for HVAC engineers if you wanted to pop this into an air duct, for instance, to measure the temperature of the air.
Okay, yes. We've got the overhead camera today. Should we test it and see if it's going to play ball with us today, Ollie? Let's have a look. Good. Right, there we go. So hopefully you can see there that this is the sort of difference between this probe and obviously the surface temperature probe is this one is designed to have air circulate around the top there. Okay, so let me plug it in and I will hopefully show you the screen and the temperature changing. All right, back to the close-up camera, please. So this is easy. There we go. Very simple. So as Dan points out, sticking it into air vents, either for HVAC, even automotive, maybe for checking air conditioning, for example, you'll be wanting to use a specialised
small
air
enough
probe.
to get through an air vent in a vehicle as well, so perfect.
Okay, and the last one, please.
The last one I have here is the immersion probe. So I don't know what you want us to do with the end of that. I'll let you decide where you want to stick that, but I'll pop that in. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Well, you can check your Sunday roast.
Yes, that's what you good.
You can insert it into all kinds of things. It's obviously going to be IP protected. I won't tell you what you should use it for. You be professional about it. But hey, this is the typical one you'd expect. You could argue it's a much more elegant version of the one that we get supplied in it. This is ideal if you are needing to, I don't know, I mean, all kinds of things. I won't get into it too much detail. The important to point out that obviously these are going to be part of the measuring tool range and they will be compatible with some existing GISs, which are our infrared scanners. We've already got, currently we've got the GIS 1000C, which has a K-probe import socket, so you can use it for that. But we also do have two new 12-volt infrared scanners that will be added to the range in only literally a few weeks. So as of May, or January, February, March, April.
End of April.
End of April, so not too long actually. Everyone's chuckling because I can't remember what day it is. And that'll be launching in our T2 cycle. So they'll be out very soon, just over a month.
Yeah, that's it. Not long now.
No. So have a look at those. But as I said, a very nice. Multifunction, digital multimeter that hopefully will now cover the vast majority, if not all, of your multimeter needs. I remember I was having a chat with some of our Worcester Bosch installers and they were very excited to see the GDM. However, quite rightly they said, oh, but it doesn't have the function.
There's just a couple of features that we were missing off of that.
That's
so
right,
this one fits the bill for them perfectly.
It'll be things like the microamp measurement and also they thought, I think even, well, microamp measurement was one definitely that they decided they really wanted. The temperature features are nice to have. They didn't necessarily need them, but they really like those as well. But there's probably a lot of people out there that did like the look of the GDM, but really they want to be purchasing the EXPERT, the EXDM. Yes, of course. Okay, so, blimey. Through the first one, Sophia. So let's see, have we got any questions or is there anything else we want to cover from the chat?
So I've picked out 2 questions from the chat so far, and the first one is relating to pricing on the GDM versus the EXDM.
That's a good question, but unfortunately, I can't tell you the pricing yet. I'd imagine there is going to be it's going to be a more expensive product for a number of reasons. It has more features, full stop. But don't forget, as an expert product, it also warrants a longer warranty as well.
Yes, we're up to 5 years on expert power tools, measuring tools, and batteries and chargers as well. So yeah.
When it comes to actual pricing, again, we don't set the pricing. That's going to be done purely by Screwfix. When they get launched, obviously, then we'll be able to communicate whatever pricing is going to be on that product. I wish I could give you a ballpark figure, but we'll probably be wrong, and then we'll get told off. So we're going to avoid any particular pricing. So all we can say is, as soon as they're launched, check them out and see if that's up your street.
And then we do also have one more other question that I've picked out, and it says, what is the frequency and accuracy range for this new multimeter?
That's a good question.
It's a good question.
It's a good question that we might have to double check in the instruction manual. Maybe throughout this live I'll have a deeper dive into that one. It's not something I've got off the top of my head.
But if you don't get the opportunity to do that, pop it in the comments underneath, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, I'll probably be able to do that. If we get a moment in this live, and I'll quickly jump on and have a check of the manual. Yeah. Okay, well, that's unfortunate. I couldn't answer that one. Is that all the questions, Sophia? For now?
So far, yes.
Okay, cool. We'll come back to you on that one. Okay, right. On to the next product, I guess, Dan.
Yes, I think so.
So we have also brought out a standard Pro version of this tool.
We have.
However, we have an Expert one that has additional features.
I think you have the Pro version there.
I'll have the Pro version, yes.
Yes. So I have the EXMC600-17. So again, the eagle-eyed amongst you will recognise this as a clamp meter. So we did have previously, we had the GMC 600-15.
Double check and look at it. Correct, the 1.5.
There.
That's right. Looks very similar.
It does look very similar.
Why change a good-looking tool? However, we added extra features, haven't we?
Yeah, there's quite a few on this one. So I've got IP54.
Yeah, well, so do I.
2 meter drop test.
Obviously.
Inverted LCD display. Oh, you'd come to recognise that anyway.
Yeah,
of course we do. Yeah,
all the products will have the inverted display.
Dual power source.
Yeah, of course. Still running on the lithium-ion battery packs.
Or
you can run your AA's. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, cool. Do you do temperature measurement?
I wish, no.
No. Do that on this as well. So different adapter. It doesn't fit, but it doesn't have the functionality.
I have no modes, yes.
That belongs in here. There you go. Actually, I think I put that in upside down. That way round. But as it's a key probe, it doesn't matter.
Yep, so you've got a slightly different adapter for this machine because it only has the 2 terminals. Yep, okay.
Microamps?
No.
AC/DC up to 600 amps.
Yeah, no.
No. Inrush content?
No inrush current.
Sorry. Frequency and capacitance?
Surprise, surprise, no.
No, LED light. You don't even have an LED light.
Well, I've got a space for it, but you've actually got one. Yeah.
Right, okay. Non-contact voltage tester?
Unfortunately not on this particular model.
Let me help you out. There's a non-contact
Yep, I'll just buy that one as well. This is an outstanding tool, so I'll get this instead, but I don't have one built in.
600 mega ohms increased resistance check?
No, can't do that.
How about a magnetic holder?
Well, I could, but I don't have one on me.
There you go. You have one of them as well.
Thank you. Cool. Right. Yeah. Okay. Still like it's bragging here.
It does appear that way, doesn't it?
So obviously you've got a lot of additional features. I think primarily the one thing that makes this fundamentally different is the ability for it to do AC and DC current.
exactly. So this is a.
It
really does open this machine up to be much more useful.
Yeah. The GMC would only do your AC amps. Being able to do both obviously is important for many different trades.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, right. Okay, the little test we've got set up here, I think, is pretty evident already. So we can obviously show how you use the clamp meter normally to detect or measure your AC amp draw.
Yep.
I think we need to put a battery on that charger to make sure that we're actually drawing current out of this circuit.
Yep.
And then we can quite easily use the clamp meter like before to measure
move this
it.
back over a little bit there.
Just turn it a little bit more towards the camera. Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, perfect.
Lovely. Can you get to this side? Because
yeah, I can do.
I shall go this way. Again. If anyone. Yeah.
All right, so again, I am going to have to trust that you can see that on camera.
Twist it a little bit.
Thank you.
What we got there? Oh.
There we go. So 0. Actually, I'll press hold. And then I can actually look at the settings. So I can actually see what I'm looking at. And I got 0.74 amps on that one.
There you go.
Okay, very nice. Okay. What I can also do, as we've already described it, is I can press the select button. Okay, and now I'm doing DC current draw. So I've got a little DC socket down here. I've got a capacitor that I can hopefully pull some power through. I can hopefully measure that. Let's have a look if it's going to do it for me. So what have I got there? About half an amp there. So let me 0.6. I can obviously look at that and double check it. Again, it's hard to show this while facing in the wrong direction, but you can see that if I am trying to take a reading that I can't quite see, I can put it in place, press the hold button, then I can review the value I've got there.
Yeah. Remember, when you're using this, you're using it on a single core cable, so either a live or a neutral return. So being able to hold it is not necessarily going to be in the easiest positions to get to. Is a real benefit on this.
I mean, I'm trying to face it towards you, and I'd rather be able to just look at it my side instead. There we go. I've got a bit more in that one now.
Yeah,
so that's more like it, because that capacitor.
You can't find the whole button there, can you?
Yeah, of course. Okay, that's charged up now. So it's gone up to 1.5 amps now. So if we cut to the overhead camera, hopefully you can see that. Okay, and the whole button, which we haven't discussed, is just here. Yeah. So I'm having to use that because I'm working in an awkward angle. Okay, when it comes to what Dan said already, it's got a non-contact voltage tester. It's up here on the top right. So again, overhead camera, please, Ollie. You can see, there we go. It's quite clearly marked, and it's this little nub here. So I can select it onto non-contact voltage testing, and in theory, oh, you might have to cut to another angle there.
Yep.
Okay. Essentially, again, is working like a inbuilt GVD. Nice set of little features that we can add to it as well. It's got a little torch button here. That, I've got to switch it on, obviously. Okay, and then I've got a little torch there. Hopefully you can see it doesn't look very bright because we've got a lot of studio lights, but obviously you can imagine that it's actually more than bright enough if you're working in dim conditions.
Electrical cabinets and stuff like that, they don't usually fit lights in, so yeah.
But yeah,
quite useful.
Yeah, but more than enough light to be used on site, just not particularly bright with all the studio lights. Yeah, I'll swap with you, mate. Cool. Okay, so again,
I'll pop that back off there.
Yeah, the noise is a little frustrating. So a lot of the additional features that the tool has will be using your probes. Okay, and you see they're all selected around here. So let's see if I can do a better job of it than I did last time. So starting at the bottom, you've got obviously your amp, you've got your current draw, and now you've got AC and DC. Yep. Okay, we'll lean around so I can see it. Okay, you've got the ability to obviously look at your hertz. You've got the inrush measurement, so you can see if you're starting up a system, you might want to know what
the highest peak.
Highest peak, yep.
Ampule.
Okay, then you've got resistance and you've got continuity. You've got, let's have a look at that. That is that's AC voltage and also hertz. DC volts. You've got your capacitance. Thank you. And then you've got your microamps.
That's microfarads.
Microamps on that one.
Yes, that's microamps. We're not farads on that.
Yep, no. And then obviously you've got the K-probe adapter, so you can pop that in, and then you can also do your Fahrenheit and your Celsius temperature, and then that last mode at the top there is for your non-contact voltage testing.
Yeah. So it could be, it would be entirely dependent on your requirements, whether you would need the clamp meter or. However, this does the vast majority of what the multimeter does, with the added benefit of the non-contact voltage tester and the clamp ability to calculate amp draw without disconnecting the circuit and running it through the multimeter.
That's right, yeah. So there's quite a lot of people that actually need to run both devices because their job requires it for safety. Yeah. Even some of the Bosch installers, the engineers themselves, depending if they're doing diagnostics, they might need both these tools. So it's often they'd also want the non-contact voltage pen as well before they even do their initial test.
They'll use that on the actual housing of the boiler just to make sure there's no wiring issues and the boiler housing's not live. Right.
So that being built into the clamp meter is already a great bonus. That's one less thing they need to purchase.
Exactly.
Okay, right. Before we move on to the next expert electrical testing device, I will obviously double check whether or not there's any questions in the chat, Sophia.
Yes, so we do actually have some more questions in the chat. So Jordan has asked about the dual power source and also battery life of these new products.
Battery life's an interesting one, actually. I'll cover that in a second because, or maybe I'll address it now, which is the fact that they are actually quite energy efficient. That you wouldn't. It's a difficult one to say how long you'd need because
the display uses a lot less energy to run than it does a standard.
All I've been reassured by the product managers is that you'll find that you do not need to charge them up. It's not an inconvenient thing to change. However, if you do want to go for something that's a bit more reusable and you don't want to,
this is a no-brainer.
Yeah, you can obviously go for the 3.7 lithium pack. The drawback, however, is obviously, and there is a minor drawback, which is obviously this is USB-C charged, okay? But it does mean that you cannot access the battery from the outside. It's part of the necessary norms. That means that you have to have the battery case completely enclosed. Yep. And obviously the device won't work if you have the battery cover off. Yeah. And that means you can't have this inside without the battery cover then being fully screwed on top.
When I was in the automotive industry and I was using my multimeter fairly regularly, that was running on a 9-volt battery, but that I don't think that would last a couple of years, to be fair. So I was never using much energy with it. You don't tend to leave it on for that long a period of time. It's turn it on, use your test. Even if you leave it on, these time out and switch themselves off as well to save the battery power.
We've had a full range of the Pro electrical testers. And I've not had to change batteries on them at all, and that's nearly a year now.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite a while.
Hey, I know we won't be using it as often as you would if you're a professional. However, again, it's completely standard, if not a little better, as Dan points out, because of that inverted display. I'll see if I can find some runtime values, but I think I've already asked this question to the product teams, and it's one of those things of like, hey, depends what modes you're using, it depends what functions you're using.
It depends on the quality of the battery that you're putting in there as well, because they do vary.
Yeah, but it's a valid question. I'll see if I can get some kind of ballpark figure for you.
That's the way to go. 100%, one of those.
Yeah. Sophia, please, any more?
No, all good from my side.
Cool, okay, that was a nice easy one. Although again, didn't really answer it. It's a really long time. It won't be an issue. No. Pop them in, forget about it, keep a couple spare. I mean, where's my little case, for example?
Oh yeah, there's spots in the actual carry cases to keep spare batteries, as well as keeping all of the cables. And also the K-probe, the adapter, and everything fits in there.
Yeah, let's pop that to the close-up cam. You can see everything comes in here. This one is unopened, so you can see that's where the spare batteries are, but it's all nicely tucked away in there. Pop a couple in there, have a couple spare. You won't need them. You'll need them very rarely need them, and you'll always have a spare set of batteries in there for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, not an issue. Not in my opinion, anyway. If you don't carry spares, the double A's, you'll be fine. You'll find some.
You'll find a shop.
You'll find some. Okay, right. Just having a look and seeing what's in the chat. People are just like, are they having a little natter? Are they fighting amongst themselves? Well, let's have a look here. Extra lumen brightness, energy uses less power. Yeah, okay, they're cool. You guys are all chatting away. It's all fine.
Yes.
Okay, right. Let's move on to a product that I know. I know this will make some people happy because there
make Jordan happy.
Will it make Jordan happy?
I think it will.
I think it will. It'll make a few other electricians happy too, because Dan, if you want to grab the existing voltage tester.
Yep.
Okay, so when we came out with the GVT 1000 I guess it's 1.5, right, Dan?
Yep, the voltage tester. This was 1.5, so generation 1, 5 feature set. So we're looking at a higher number, hopefully, for the Expert.
Well, one of the things we got questioned on, I don't want to say criticised, but it was a valid question. It's like, oh, I like it, but it doesn't have a screen.
Yeah. It lights up the bars on the top here to show you the ballpark voltage. Very accurate, but could be much more accurate with an LCD display.
Well, it could be this one here, right? So instead, we've got the Expert voltage tester, and obviously this is going to be EXVT1000-17.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be our Expert voltage tester. Okay, 1.7 because obviously feature set 7. Yeah. Now, what makes it significantly different is the fact that hopefully you can see it already. It has a screen. So the criticisms with the GVT was it had basically like an analog system. Yeah. It would light up different, whatever the voltage was that you're testing, it would light up.
Exactly.
Do you know what? That's okay. But if you want to have a precise value, it's not going to do it on this device.
No.
Luckily, we have a little screen on the front here. Okay, just pop that out again for the close-up camera to see, and then you can obviously now see a specific value. So let's do it. Let's mess around, Dan. I'm IP65. What about you?
I'm also IP65.
I do a self-test.
I do have a self-test function.
Yeah, I've got continuity testing.
I also have continuity testing.
But
Although it is a little bit confusing sometimes,
Yes.
but we'll explain that in a minute.
Yeah, but are you up to category 3 1000 volt?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yep.
Well, fair enough. I've got RCD buttons, so I can do RCD checking.
Yep, I can do that as well.
And I have an LED light.
I also have an LED light this time.
Well, fair enough. But I have an inverted LCD display. You
Well, you know I don't.
bad luck, mate, bad luck. What have I also got? Tucked up right here, I've also got an integrated non-contact voltage tester.
No, you'll have to give me that one back that I gave you earlier.
That's right, in your face.
That's it, I need one of that.
Now I've got a few other features. I've got a hold and mute button. Unfortunately, we didn't bother applying that to your product.
No.
Partly because it's not necessary, because you don't have additional features.
I don't have a display to hold.
Well, that's true. But I have the ability to do frequency and resistance.
No, can't do that.
I also have a nice feature on here that I really particularly like, that I can do low voltage testing from as little as 1 volt up to, say, 12 volt. And unfortunately, you could probably do 12 volt, but you couldn't do below that. So
No, it just reads 12.
that's right. And lastly, believe it or not, I can also do diode testing with this.
Well, you know the answer to that one.
Yes, unfortunately, no, Danny can't either. So this will be a question to the people out there that really like the look of the professional GVT. However, will now the expert GVT solve that itch? Will it have all the functions that you require? I'm hoping it will.
I think you mean scratch that itch.
Whatever, you know. 5th language. It's going up every time. Yes, BS is a language, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
fluent in
well
that.
versed.
Fluent
Well
in
versed. Okay, right. So demo-wise,
I'm going to put this away because I'm, quite frankly,
it's not that.
It's not up to
It's not as exciting, of
No.
course, but this is an expert live, right? So the most obvious thing I can do here, I mean, thanks, mate. This might be a little harder. I mean, a lot of it might be on the microphones. First things first is obviously we've got the self-test, the self-calibration check. Now we don't make a proving box. That might be something, if it's required by the norms of whatever site you're working on, you might still need to purchase your own third-party proving box. Maybe Bosch might make one, but at the moment, I think there's plenty out there that will service that for you. If you don't require it, then the self-test itself here, just check it, is going to be, which just basically tells you if the tool is working correctly or not. In this case, I'm just going to place it in and I'm going to get my values. I'll read it off for you because I don't think you'll be able to see it, but it is obviously saying 230 volt. It's coming in at, I was going to mute the sound, but there you go. Dan's, luckily for me, reached over there. Thank you very much. And he's pressed the hold button, so you can see that I've just got under, what's that, 218 volts of the overhead camera there very quickly. You can see. Thank you. There you go. Cool. There you go. And obviously, when I had it in the actual socket itself, then the analog screen was lighting up to 230 volts as well. What I also see is I can see the polarity, I can see the direction of current as well. And there's the hold button there that Dan was pressing on my behalf. Thank you very much, mate.
All right.
Okay, here's your RCD check. Okay, so if this, I'm not going to do it, obviously, for the reason that I want the live stream to continue.
It might end rapidly.
If we cut back to the wide camera for a second, what I'll do as well is, let's cycle through the modes very quickly. Just going to see, okay. I said it's got a non-contact voltage tester. It might be hard for you to see, maybe on the close-up you might see. There you go. Which this little icon here, NCV, is flashing. And it is vibrating. I can feel it in my hand, and I can also hear it. You might not be able to hear it on the mics because obviously it might be auto-gating, but there's a very clear sound that there's something happening there. Let's have a look here. Same thing again, if I put it on here, I can quite easily see. See if I can get it on camera. Let's have a look, there it is. There you go. I don't know if you're going to catch it on the close-up camera, but again, warning, flashing, vibrating, and also audible tone.
Yes.
So again, really nice if you need to have a non-contact voltage tester, but you still require your contact voltage tester as part of your job. Okay, a nice little additional feature that I'm very happy to have. Question then, Sophia, to the rest of the chat. Is there anything else that we probably need to show? I mean, actually, I might actually do low voltage actually before we carry on. See if this will work for us. Because I can change the mode to although I think it might be 12 volt down here, so I'm just going to check here very quickly.
Yeah, it's 12 volt.
It's already 12 volt anyway. Hold that. Okay, and again to the overhead camera. That we know that the bottom, we know that our DC panel there is doing 12 volt.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to pop that back in and see if we have any more questions maybe.
I've just picked out the one for now about whether this tool has retractable tips or not.
Yes, it does. Yep. We have the rubber, almost like a sort of a latexy kind of soft rubber. These sit over the top of the pointy tips. I'll take the adapters off that we've got on there at the moment, but these sit just covering the top of the tip there. Obviously, you push this in to wherever you're doing the reading, and this retracts back and allows you to take the test.
It's to make sure. Now, my understanding again, if we've got any professional electricians in the chat, you can confirm that for our behalf, because I'm under the belief that in order to make sure that you're protecting yourself up to 1,000 volts, then you will be probably wanting to use the covers because you don't want any arcing, isn't that? I think
that's it. Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there you go.
I should point out, I mean, I'm
Touched on
trying to cover things that are new, but obviously we share a lot of the ergonomics from the standard Pro product, and little things that might seem not important, but they are actually. It's even just these stops for your hands up here. This little area that stops.
You'll find this on all of the VDE products
exactly.
as well for that exact reason. It's to prevent you from sliding up the machine and then contacting the actual pins at the end.
But as I said, I've felt many of the competitors out there, and again, if you get a chance to actually feel some of these, all of them actually, they all feel really nice. Now, there's nothing wrong with some of the competitors out there.
It's an insulated gripping surface that we use on our power tools as well. So this isn't just black plastic; it's actually rubberized as well. So again,
but as I said, a lot of it feels good. It's got non-slip grip, and again, all the products that have a wheel on the side, a mode wheel, again, are all single hand operation. We didn't talk about it on the clamp meters because we'd already talked about it on the multimeter. Again, one hand operation, feels good, and even something as rudimentary, if I can even use the word as a voltage test, it feels good. It feels really rugged. There's not much, there's no flex, and as per usual, Bosch plastics and rubber. Nice feeling products. Yeah. So, Sophia, I think I saw maybe you got some comments, questions?
Yeah, another question was, do we have alligator clips for the leads?
No, I've asked about that already. Not currently, no. No, I'm going to look into that again when we're next over in Germany. And I'm not even sure if it's a standard thread on the end there, but I'm going to check that as well just to make sure.
Yeah, good question, yeah.
Yeah, I think because it comes with these adapter pieces for use within sockets. So it makes the tip larger, so you can pop it in a socket. Whether they will do a slide-on clip to go over the top of those, that in reality is all they would need to do. But we'll see. Definitely feeding it back to them currently. So hopefully we get a bit of an idea on that.
Okay, right. So I'm aware.
There's something I also wanted to mention about. We touched on the continuity test. Now, there was one change that we made on the multimeter.
Good point.
We changed the tone for the continuity test because we had a beeping noise before. But any of you out there who've used or carried out continuity tests in the past know that it's a constant tone.
So, as an example, maybe you can hear that on the mics. This was the GVT.
Yep. So people weren't recognising that as a continuity test because it was a regular beeping sound. Usually, with a measuring tool, you get a constant tone like that. So we changed the tone to seem more familiar to people who currently use these products as well. So you can step directly into the Bosch range and obviously understand the sounds that are coming out.
That's right. And
industry standard.
And obviously the members of the chat, you're partly responsible for that because you gave us some very clear feedback saying, no, that's not right.
No.
So we and many of our colleagues obviously passed that back to the product team. So they corrected it in the new product.
Exactly.
So that's a thank you for everyone that participates, watches and gives us feedback. We really appreciate it. It's very useful for us to help and make sure that we're developing the tool that you want you like and want to buy.
Yeah. That's what makes these live streams such a valuable touch point.
Yeah, and I think I've been very clear that I am not a professional electrician. I am far better at demolition.
Yes.
I prefer my metal working for sure over my electrical testers, but really appreciate obviously that there's a lot of people out there that really know their stuff, and I'm more than happy
I'm an ex-welder. I prefer woodwork now. So yeah, there you go.
Getting soft in his old age.
Yes, I think you're probably right.
Okay, right. Let's have a look. See if we've got anyone in there. Let's change design. What a bizarre design decision, Safino. Which one's? Oh, you mean you're probably talking about? You're talking about the original. Continuity testing on the GVT with that?
Yeah.
Because you said that you're glad it was changed, and again, maybe that was the whole point there.
Yeah.
Yes, you are not alone in that opinion. Okay. Actually, you know what? I better not read too much of this. I'll leave it for Sophia to do. Before we move on,
This is an exciting one next.
this is going to be far more fun. This is far more my wheelhouse when it
Yes.
comes to products, so hopefully I'll do a better job of explaining it.
Yeah.
We have a brand new EXPERT detector.
Yes, we do.
Now, detection is something I believe we do really well.
We do. Yes. I'm going to switch this off, and I'm just going to attempt to put it on the floor out of the way.
All right. So while you're doing that, I'm going to preamble a little bit and say, actually, in the range, we have a number of really outstanding detectors. Now, I've got 2 examples of our detection range. I've picked these 2 specifically and not the others because these are radar-based. The first one I've got here is our D-tect18V-120, so pure radar-based technology. The other one I've got here is our D-tect18V-200-17C.
Yeah.
Now this is both electromagnetic but also has radar.
See, this would be the one that if they were going to make it into an expert, that they would have made into an expert. However,
Yes.
Yes.
So what I want to show you is up here.
all in a new machine.
That's right.
This is the D-tect18V-200-17C.
Yeah, so part of the new naming structure. Now, what makes
Doesn't
it
say
special?
it's not an EX detect.
No, it's not an EX
It's
detect.
an expert detect.
Yes, I guess that's the way. I think this one's going to sidestep the naming structure a little bit because we know that the D-tect is actually, for those who are in the know, they are fully aware of what the D-tect stand for. And D-tects, as we said, these are going to be radar-based detectors. 200, just like in the 12 volt, means this has a maximum detection range of 200 millimeters. And generation 1, yeah, you know that already. And then 7, of course, top of the range.
Top of the range, maximum feature set.
Yes, makes it an expert product. Connected means obviously it has the ability to download the data off it. It's not Bluetooth connectivity, as opposed it's memory card and USB-C connectivity on this product.
Bluetooth, it doesn't have enough capacity to be able to download the file size.
I probably also don't want to try and fit a transmitter into that. It'll probably cause issues with the technology inside. Right, so what I want to make sure is very clear is this, okay? I'm waiting for the people in the chat going, oh, it's the same, you've just slapped an 18 volt battery on it. No. We have not done that. Instead, we have provided a product that has a familiar ergonomic.
Yep.
Because this is...
Why, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. No. It works perfectly, that machine.
Similar design. It actually has...
Build upon it.
Yeah, it has some slight differences. It still retains the wheels, because obviously this is a wall scanner that is designed to be rolled along the floor or on the walls. Okay, so the D-tect18 keeps that ergonomics.
Yep.
The handle itself, because it doesn't actually have to situate the 12 volt battery, is even more comfortable. It's a much slimmer grip.
Yep.
I really like that as well. The battery placement means
you can put it down.
I can put it down, because one thing you want to be very careful with detectors is you don't want to be unnecessarily scuffing or getting dirt and debris on the sensor panel itself.
Exactly.
To be able to stand up seems like a minor point, but it's a really good thing to have on the product.
The other thing is, if you have, say for your company, you have inventory stickers, don't stick them on there.
There's a few things.
There's a few things that you shouldn't do that will impede it.
Yeah, if you're very excited and you're not bored of this face, you can also watch some of the training videos that I've done for the D-tect18V-120, the D-tect18V-200-17C, and ultimately I'm sure I'm going to have to make a training video on the 18 volt version as well. Yes. Despite the fact that most of the settings and the way you use it is the same, there's some subtle differences that makes the EXPERT product even better compared to what I think was already an outstanding detector.
Yes.
Okay, right. I think I've covered most of that preamble into the product.
I think so.
I think the only thing I want to say is...
Let me take that one. We'll have a face-off.
Are we going to have a face-off?
We'll have a face-off.
Oh, okay. Well, do a little face-off then. Right, so I obviously am radar-based.
Same here, actually.
Okay, fair enough. I also have electromagnetic induction.
Yes.
So I can do material discrimination, so I can scan the wall and find out whether...
I can do that as well.
Oh, fair. I can also do water-filled and empty plastic pipes.
Yep, same here.
Darn, okay. I've got a number of different scanning modes. I've got spot view, object view, 2D signal, and I've also got signal view.
Yep, I've got all of those as well.
Yeah. Leak detection?
Yes, I've got that as well.
Oh, well, unfortunately, I've also got 3D imaging.
You what now?
Oh, bad luck, Danny. That's right. Cringe. That's going to get memed. Yeah. Okay, so there's one fundamental difference, other than the fact that I'm 18 volt, which means I've got even more runtime compared to your 12 volt battery, is the fact that this product also does 3D imaging. And that's really important. Why? Because there's not many, there's only a few other brands out there that offer it. I'm not going to name names. If you feel free, you can Google it if you want. But comparable technology, especially when it comes to 3D imaging, if I'm correct, I believe it's products in the pricing range of, last time I looked, it's something like £37,000.
It's tens of thousands.
Right? It's over 30K to get 3D imaging and 3D scanning technology. Now, what we're offering here is a variation of that, which is still going to be able to do up to 200 millimeters, depending on the material you're scanning, because obviously if you're scanning on, say, drywall, for example, your detection range is going to be limited, less than, say, for concrete. With all scanners, for example, the maximum detection depth will vary depending on what you're looking for and the material you're working on.
At the end of the day, it's looking for differences in the density of materials. So if you've got drywall, for instance, as soon as you get past the drywall, you've got fresh air, or you've got fiberglass insulation, or you've got insulation of some kind. So it has to take that into consideration, and that will reduce the depth that you can scan. Concrete, on the other hand, you've got rebar in concrete, 200 mil.
That's right, because as you can imagine, metal, especially rebar, is very different to the concrete that surrounds it. Exactly. So it's easily going to be able to differentiate the different materials. Okay, so we're going to do something again that we haven't done for a while. I can't remember the last time we actually used our detection wall. So I'm going to wheel it in. I'm going to wheel it back as well a little bit.
Here's one we made earlier.
Right, so what I'm going to do is say, please ignore this poster for now. We didn't want to faff around taking it on or off. The first thing I want to do is I want to show the people out there that have never used a D-tect.
I feel I should have a lab coat and a pointer stick.
I want to point out to all the people out there the functions that both the D-tect200 and also the D-tect18V-200-17C also have. So start up the product. It takes a little while to calibrate or to boot up because obviously there's a lot of software that's going on involved. Let's go to the overhead camera very quickly. Let's see if we're going to play ball with that. Okay, perfect. Looks great. Okay, so with both D-tects, you've got your little control panel D-pad here that allows you. Yeah, thank you.
Put that just there.
You see how very similar it is. Okay. You've actually got a newer processor inside this one, I believe, so it actually is a bit snappier compared to the 12 volt. So you've got your left and right button that allows you to change between different types of wall types. So you've got your brick universal, you've got your concrete mode with the ability to change from 8 centimeter, 12 centimeter, and 20 centimeter max detection depth. That's useful if you don't want to over penetrate, or if you want to actually, you don't need to go any deeper than 8 centimeters or 80 millimeters. You can limit the penetration depth. Okay, if I go down to drywall, this is the one we're going to be using today because obviously the wall behind us is drywall. This is important that you select the right material because it helps the device basically know what to ignore. Okay, underfloor panel heating. That is also a really nice thing to have, especially if you've got helps see if where the pipes are, so you don't drill holes in them for a start.
Exactly, and you can also use the leak detection for that as well. Right, which will give you a hand if you're looking for a leak.
Yeah, I'm noticing I'm shaking the desk too much, so I'll try not to get too excited. We've got vertical coring brick, and we've also got horizontal coring brick as well. This depends on, in maybe other countries, it's not as common here. I know it's very much more common in Europe, for example, to use some of this stuff, but we do have similar stuff. So you can set the device depending on where the cavities might be to try and ignore those. Okay, and then the last one here you've got is your early age concrete. So this is concrete that hasn't fully cured yet. So it's basically wet concrete. You tell the device has got a higher than normal water content, and that will mean that
it'll cancel that out and give you the best possible reading in the material.
Okay, so first off I'm going to set it for drywall, okay, just like you would for the 12 volt version, and then I can use the up and down button to cycle through the different, the different modes. So yes, here we go. First off I've got the spot view. I have object view, I have signal 2D, and I've got signal view. Now these are the modes, hopefully, if you're a Bosch fan, you should already be familiar with. Let's put it in the default mode. which typically is going to be object view. All right, I'm just going to do a little scan, so
Yep.
don't worry, Dan, if you're comfortable there.
Yep.
If you ignore the poster, although I might use it anyway, just as a reference point, we'll use this in the 3D imaging, and that's where it becomes important. So I've got a bit of drywall.
There's your clue at the top there.
Yeah, 3D imaging, small. Okay, I'm going to do it down here. Okay, and what I want to show, again, is just how these devices work. Okay. Now, we're cheating because I know what's in the wall, but hopefully, on the close-up camera, you can see that I've got 3 nice, strong signals. I've got this one here, which is already a white icon saying non-metal. Guess what? I'm pretty sure this is what Dan used to build the wall, which is 3 wooden studs.
Yes.
Next in line, I've got an object which is saying that it's non-ferrous metal, so non-magnetic. Okay, it's a slightly different color. I'm going to lean in to remind myself. It's a kind of turquoise color there. And then I'm going to go across a little bit more and see that I've got another item here, another non-metal object. On the top, I have a measurement wheel that's telling me where along the wall from my starting point am I. And also you can see there, hopefully, that there is a little white icon, and in this case, a little turquoise icon that brings down and shows me the object depth. Okay, so now I can know how deep how deep that object is in the wall. So if I need to drill a hole, and it's well, as in this case, I only have to go say 20 mils in.
Yeah.
I could probably get away with that. Got nearly a centimetre's leeway.
Yep.
Maybe it's a bit too tight for me, but say for example the object's 5 centimeters in and only have to go a little bit in, I'll be okay.
Yeah, if you put a picture hook up or something like that and it's only going to go through the drywall, then yeah, you'd be all right.
Right, so the device tells you both where it is on the wall and more importantly how deep it is, because it's got that electromagnetic sensor as well as radar. It's very quick, but it also can tell you what the material is.
Yeah.
It'll give you a number of different options, right, Dan?
Yes. Yeah. There's yeah, plenty of options there.
Yep. So you got your non-metal objects.
Yep.
That could be wooden studs.
Yep.
Sorry, not wooden. Wooden battens.
Yes, so
the
that'll
wall.
come up as non-metal. Then you've got non-ferrous metal, so that'll be your copper pipes.
I know that's what's behind here is a copper pipe.
Yeah, maybe copper cable as well. It'll pick up the content of that as well. And you got ferrous metal as well.
Yeah.
So it'll pick up rebar, for instance.
Rebar or any other metal. Other things, you might have aluminium drywall partitioning instead of wooden studs, for example. Do you always say water-filled plastic pipes as well?
And then yeah, but it will do water-filled plastic pipes as well.
Or empty plastic pipes as well.
Because it will pick up the void inside. So.
Okay, right. Now, what we could do now is the mode that probably you want to see most, which is going to be the 3D scanning mode.
Yep.
So, for example, in this particular wall, okay, I could scan right across the top and I can see all the different objects.
Yep.
Okay. However, sometimes there might be some complex. It might be a complex structure, or my favourite one is the electrician's gone in there and he's laid the cable at an angle.
Yep.
Or there's something weird that I can't quite understand what it is, and you might be getting results that are not easy to understand.
Scanning that backwards and forwards will give you a very, very brief image of what's going on in the wall. You don't know what's going on above, you don't know what's going on below.
Let me do an example
Hang on
here.
1 minute, because I think you picked up the wrong one. That's a marketing sample. Yes.
Is it?
Yep. There was another one knocking about.
Oh, okay.
Fine. I think there was. Maybe not.
It's fine. I'll run that.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go across the top, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a left to right scan. And I'm just going to do a normal scan and see what I can see. And then what we're going to do is then we're going to do one with the actual 3D scanning function. Okay, just going to let that boot up for a second. Important to note that obviously you will be supplied this 3D scanning print, poster we call it.
Yep.
You can actually get a bigger one and you can buy spares. However, these are designed to be very robust and you shouldn't need to replace them very often. They are hard wearing, but if you want a different size or if you want additionals or to replace one that's eventually worn out, you can easily. There's a little QR code down here that allows you to order more. Okay, I'm just going to scan across the, I'm going to go around down the bottom here actually and just see what we get because, oh, I'm in the wrong mode there. It doesn't matter, I'll come back. So I'm going to change different mode, object view mode very quickly. Okay. And I can see that obviously it matches what I thought expected before. So you've got your wooden stud. Go back and find that wooden stud. There it is. Okay, I've got something here that's about, what, 2.7 centimeters deep. That's your copper pipe, that's fine.
Yep.
I'm going to find another wooden stud. There you go, that's right up against the back of the drywall, 0.8 centimeters deep. And then I think I might find something else. Yeah, something else is here. It's something magnetic metal. probably steel, and then another wooden stud. Cool. Okay, that's fine. However, I know what I've done behind the wall to make it a little bit more complicated. I've actually put something at an angle. Okay, actually there's a couple of things in there that have, oh, we've hidden it. Cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it for the 3D scanning mode. Let's go to the overhead camera for a second. Okay, so we go to the menu. Okay, you can go to measuring mode, objects, and go across, and now we can do 3D imaging. And you can see, hopefully, that there's now an interface that we've not seen before. Okay. Tell you what, Dan. If you're looking for the real one, I'm going to do this scan. If you can see whether or not it's still in the workshop, if you want, if it makes a difference.
I thought I put it in here.
Okay. I think this will work fine, to be honest.
Yep.
Let's see what results we get, regardless. Okay. So you can see here, right? There's a number of options we can do. You can see that at the bottom it says for standard poster. Okay. I can go here. And then I can actually go and use this top right button to go through different modes and different settings. You can see that we've got two different sizes. We've got the, what's that, poster size small, or we can go across, let's have a look here, and then we can pick the larger ones if we want. But I know that's the one
there's also
we've
the QR code there as well, should you need to read it.
Okay, got scanning type, which is standard. Now this is relevant, and we'll talk about this in a bit more detail because this is where it gets a bit nerdy. I've left it on standard mode, but as you can see, we can do precision and quick.
We'll do a quick one afterwards.
Yeah, I'll let you do that one, Dan.
Just to see the contrast between the two.
Okay, so I'm going to go back. Okay, and now I'm going to go back again, and I'm going to do this first, basically like a calibration phase. So if we cut to the wide camera for a second, what we're going to see here is I'm going to do what the interface is telling me, which is basically scan from this top left-hand corner all the way down to the bottom right corner. Okay, I'm going to do that now. Okay, the device gives you very clear instructions. Actually, you can see the device on the screen moving from that top left down to the top right on the screen there. Now it says, cool, place device on poster. Okay, and it's got the number 1 indicated on the screen here, and there's your one line. So we're doing every other line, I believe. So we do the thick line first. So place it on. Okay, I'm going to go across. Oh, sorry. Press the button in the middle, make sure it's ready to scan, and then we go across.
So you want to line the centre line up here. That goes for the start off on every line you're going to do.
All right, so for the standard scan, as Dan says, I've done 1, now I'm doing 3. The interface tells me. I place it on 3, making sure I line up the lines on the device with the poster, press the button in the middle to start scanning, and then I'm going to do that very quickly. Okay, getting nice audible indications on success. Move to line 5, which is now the thick line again.
What this is gradually doing is building up a 3D image of the wall with each pass. You can actually see it on the screen. The image is actually being generated as we go through.
Right. Now, I'm obviously trying to make sure that I'm making it easy for you to see. I would normally want to stand here and see that I'm lining it up properly, but I'm doing a reasonable job, so I'll carry on. Okay, on line 7, I'm going to do that very quickly. There you go. Now line 9. Now you might be saying, oh, this is a lot of work. Well, you don't have to do this many scans. Dan is going to do one that's the quick scan.
Yeah.
Sometimes you won't need it.
That'll be 1, 5, 9, 13 and 17. So a little bit quicker. We'll still give you an image. However, the clarity is not going to be as clear as the standard, or definitely not the precision one. On the precision scan, you do every single line. So that obviously comes up with a very high resolution image at the end of it. But this also allows you on that final image to almost like an MRI, is to actually go through, almost travel through the wall and see what's at what depth and where. So if you've got a situation, say for instance, you've got a cable that's wrapped around something, this will actually give you an indication of the cable actually wrapped around it as well.
Okay, I've done my last scan, so let's cut to the overhead to start with. Okay, now that is an initial scan of what we've done. I'm going to select this little OK button, and you'll see actually now we've got a 3-dimensional view through the actual drywall and see what material we've got.
And that also gives you the grid references on there as well, so should you need to isolate exactly where those items are, it gives you the exact grid reference of the poster.
Right, I'm going to get rid of the grid because it's easier for me to show you what I want to show you. You can see there's your copper pipe, nice and clear. You can see that there's the wooden stud in the middle. You can see there's a faint signal on the far left, but I wasn't really scanning for that far stud because that's outside of the poster. You can see there is another vertical line, but you can also see I've put in a cheeky little cable that is running diagonally behind that rebar just to throw me off, throw myself off, throw you off maybe. If I now press the up and down button, I can scan through the depth, so I can see, what's that say, 3 centimeters, 3.5. So you can see the copper pipe is very strong signal there, so that's probably the dead center, about 4 centimeters deep.
Yep.
Going through.
And you can see the cable, obviously hit the cable first and then you've got a piece of rebar behind it.
That's right, yeah. So the cable's,
there you go. You can
cable's right up against the back of the drywall, you can see that. And then, as Dan says, behind it is another signal. Okay. So what we could do, we can obviously now, I can save this image. I can actually save a, let's go right to the top. Okay, and I can save that. Actually, that gives you all that with no specific depth information. That's all the information, so I could save that and add that to my report or whatever I'm using. What I could do if I wanted to is then I could go back to normal scanning mode and I could rescan that and go, oh, okay, well, that's metal and that's wood, so I can then make a more detailed scan. You don't
right about here, you've got a nice strong signal, but then you can scan back over that and find out that that's not a ferrous metal, so you'd assume copper. Or copper core.
So there's a lot of additional functionality, and the thing that's most important here is it stitches all these images together, so you don't have to try and make up the mental image. You've got it all stored in here. You can take your time and go through it, millimeter by millimeter, and paint a bigger picture. Mark it on the wall or whatever, or do additional scans to try and understand what is in there. If something is lying at an angle, that is a very difficult thing to work out mentally if you're just doing single scans at a time. It can get quite easily confusing because you're going left and right, and then you're doing up and down scans trying to find out where these objects are.
The interesting part about this poster as well is you'll notice that on each intersection here, or location, you have holes through the poster itself as well. So you can scan through it. If you know that there's something there, you can just dot in these holes exactly the locations of the actual items without taking off the poster, and then you can take the poster down afterwards and you've got a clear indication of exactly where things are. I think, Chris, you're setting up a surprise for me.
That's right. So what we've done is we've shown the standard scanning mode.
Yep.
But I've decided to let Dan have a little challenge and do 3D scanning, but we're going to do the quick mode. Do you want me to set this up and show? Oh, we can do it on camera if you like.
Yeah, do it on camera.
Let's do it on camera because it's a little easier. So again, we go into the menu, so overhead camera, so measurement mode, 3D scanning or 3D imaging. Okay, once we've gone into it, which is fine, it's all selected as before. Okay, remember we use the gear button up here, and what we can do is we can go to scanning type, and now we could use precision, but we don't want to be here too long. So we'll send it to quick. Okay, and then now you see there's a lot less lines on it. I think actually it tells you on the actual scanning type, it says every thick line, every line, and you can see every solid line. So you can see it's a lot less lines. So I'll pass this back to you, Dan.
Right, so again.
Got to do that. You always got to do that diagonal calibration phase.
There you go. Big tick. I've done that right.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, you got an award.
You got an award for that. Press the button again. Simple. As soon as it goes on across the line at the end, obviously it realises where it is and tells you to go back to start again.
Yep, you get a nice little, if you can't hear it, there's a nice little tone telling you, congratulations, well done.
Well done.
You're a big boy. Yeah. What you can't see, but I can see and Dan can see obviously clearly when he's scanning, is it's painting the image in real time.
Yeah. Yeah, I can actually see at the top of the image here what's actually coming out. Yeah. What gets me is you can actually move quite quicker on this. I think this is down to that faster process.
I think
you
so,
can move it a little bit faster than you could before. Now I'm on 13 down here.
Yeah, and again, the interface is continuously giving you guidance as well.
There you go. Oh, you have really made it.
I've made it a bit difficult for you.
You really surprised me for that lot. There you go. Final one. There you go. Finally. There you go. So, what you got there?
Cool, right. I'll clear it and just so we can have a look at it. I'll go to overhead camera, just a little easier for me to do. And maybe Dan, you can see that that's your complete depth.
Yep.
And you can see that obviously in the A column, there's something funky that I put in here. Scan through it. Yeah, so there's a slight curved shape in there. What could that be?
I think you've put a water-filled plastic pipe in there, but it's nice to show that it actually picks them up very, very clearly.
Now, I've made that very difficult because
Yeah.
I've actually put that very close to the wooden stud as well. Now, if you scan this, if you use this device and scan it, you will see in the normal mode that you've got a non-metallic object in here.
Hang on.
Yeah? You can spin it. Do you want to spin it around the other way?
That's cheeky. That is very close to that stud, isn't it?
Well,
We'll turn it round afterwards and show you what's going on.
That's right. But that's the kind of thing that you might have to worry about, right? But it would be hard pressed to work out if there are anything else in the wall that isn't just simply vertical.
Yeah.
So this is showing you how high resolution this device can scan, also in that 3D mode. So actually, while I'm back there, I'll fiddle it with it.
You can do it again? Or?
I think I could do it. Make it a little. There you go.
There you go. Do you want to do another scan again?
I need to back that out a little bit. You could do one more and see what you get.
I'll do another quick scan.
Right, so while you're doing the scan, Dan, I'm going to see if Sophia's got any questions in regards to this product.
Just save that.
Yeah, cool.
Posterity.
Cool.
So
Sophia,
we have had another question as to whether this tool can detect live cables. Now, my answer would be yes, but I think we best check with the experts. If
You
like
know
what I did
best,
there.
Sophia. Obviously,
Of course it will.
all of our detection tools will detect live wires. All of our detectors will do live wires, and the detect 18 volt is no different.
Yeah.
We don't have a live wire in the wall because it's a mobile wall, it's a bit difficult to set up, but that will obviously come up and it will be indicated by a yellow or orange line depending on how good your colour vision is.
You will have to have something consuming energy on that line though. So if obviously you're doing scannings in scanning in a local area, plug something into the socket so it's drawing current, but then it will come up a lot clearer as that when you do the scan.
Go on, you do a quick scan again and I'll see if there's any more questions, Sophia. I'll try my best to answer them. Or was that, have we got any more?
Yeah, we have got a few more actually. I'm just gathering them, so just bear with me. But one that I have written down so far is, have we got plans for a larger version of the D-tect to scan floors?
So the question, this would be a good question. Maybe this is something that we could feed back to the production team. What kind of specifications are you looking? We can make a bigger machine. You can already roll that on the floor and it works pretty good. So I'm gathering that what you want is something that has a deeper detection depth, maybe something in the range of maybe 400 millimeters or maybe more. Well, that's a question that I would like to know. Maybe I can ask whether or not there is any plans to build even more powerful detectors. I'm very happy to say that I think we make actually very high quality for the price point, because these are very affordable detectors compared to what else is out in the market already. So price to performance, I think we're already bang on. There you go.
That's actually a quick scan. Was actually quite quick.
Cool. So I changed the orientation of the pipe.
You have, yes.
To make it a little easier, but you can still see there's still a bit of a curve to it. Let's cut to the overhead and I'll see if I can cycle through it and see if it actually matches what how I set it up, which is...
That's the drywall. Then you got through to the...
That's right. There's a slight bend in it, which you can just about see. It's more, it's further away at the right at the bottom there, and you can see that. Okay, but we're really messing around with millimeters of difference between the distance from the wall. The device picks it up.
It's a complete departure, accuracy-wise, than just having a general scan. Even with the object view from the 12 volt, which was really, really good, having a 3D image and actually being able to pass through it is amazing, groundbreaking, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway.
Yes, exactly. I can see our phenols. Yep, phenols. Bang on the money there. It's one of those things that if you want a deeper penetrating radar sensor, it's not just, oh, you just need a slightly better sensor. It's exponentially more complicated and more technology is required to go into a deeper material. So you will obviously then have a price that also has to reflect that, because the deeper you go in, it's not going to be linear.
It goes to show you the advances in technology as well, because in reality, it's a pretty similar package, really, size-wise. Okay, we've got an 18-volt battery on it for runtime, but yeah, I'm amazed at that machine. Genuinely, it's.
I mean, I'm obviously a massive advocate for the detection range or the Bosch detectors in general. I'm really happy to have this as our expert product because, again, it's by far clearly what an expert product should be, which is absolutely top of the range. And I would even argue, for its price and performance, this is probably going to be a top performer out in the market. Someone will have to tell me whether or not there's anything in the market that competes with this at this price point and performance. So, Sophia, I see you've got some more questions.
Yes, I've got two more questions. So are the files just pictures or can they be uploaded into a more interactive format?
They are PNG images at the moment.
Yep.
The software, we don't have a software that allows you to cycle through the different modes, as in different levels. So what you do is you would, at this stage, with the software, you will say, it's like doing a screenshot each time, so you can move with the 3D scan through the material deeper, and you can take different images to help paint the picture that way. Yeah. It would be really nice if we had a more interactive software.
I would imagine, considering this machine is so new, I would be genuinely, I mean, we still support this with software updates. So we will be supporting this going forward with software updates. So any new technology that becomes available that we can pack into this, we will do. And it stands to reason that the app is going to move that direction as well.
At the moment, we don't have a detection-based app for these. So essentially how it works at the moment is you simply, all you have to do is simply plug a USB cable, so USB-C, plug that into a laptop, and then use it like an external hard drive to download the PNG images to view.
Could you run that as a slideshow though, for instance?
Yeah, of course.
You have 5 or 6 images,
but
you can run them as a slideshow.
Yeah, so the only thing you need to do is, where relevant, when you're going through your 3D scan and going into depth, you can save each image as you go along. I think primarily save the top one, which is all the information, and then you can pick and choose which depth images you want to save and add to your collection, so you can review that, as you say, like a slideshow. Maybe, as you say, hopefully, fingers crossed, it'd be nice to have a different file format that's a bit more interactive, but we'll need an app. I think we'll need an app to run that. Sophia, more questions?
Yeah, we do have another one. How does it perform on multi-material walls, specifically mesh? Metal mesh.
Metal mesh. Well, like all detectors, if you've got a fine mesh, it's going to detect that substance first. And if it's, as you say, if it's a mesh, then it's going to
fine mesh. You sometimes get shadowing.
As well, so. But I was going to say that in most cases, that there needs to be a distance separation between materials for the detector to understand that it's a different item. So for example, if I've got a wooden stud here and I've got something right next to it that's within, say, I think it's something like 40 millimeters, I believe, right? There's a chance that it might detect it as the same object because it's too close for it to differentiate.
I would imagine it would almost be like a Faraday cage, so far as when the radar would just.
It would say the whole thing's metal, or whatever the material is. With a mesh, it's not going to be able to. If you're wanting to look past metal, it's not going to do it. It's going to detect the metal as the initial surface, and then it would have trouble going beyond that.
It's just going to be the limitations of radar and basic physics.
It'll be a similar point if you're talking about things like Celotex, thank you, or foil-backed insulation. Because it's foil, tin foil essentially, it's going to reflect the radar or the electromagnetic signal. That currently defeats all detection-based technology from us or anyone else's. So you could have example our GMS 120, great product, or the GMS 120-27. Okay, it can't scan through foil. Neither can detectors. Neither can, God, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of wall scanning radar equipment. It just cannot penetrate that foil. Instead, you have to go to a more destructive method. But luckily, we sell inspection cameras as well.
Yes, and drills.
And drills to go with it. So if you want to be as least destructive as possible, don't forget we've got our 3.9 millimeter inspection camera cables. So you're making barely any holes. To have a look. That's a long way of saying mesh depends. Probably not. Only going to detect the mesh. I love it.
I would imagine so. Yeah, we got them in the end.
Sophia, please, any more?
That's all from me for right now.
Perfect. Okay,
you want to spin this round and just show the folks that
we can see that we weren't cheating.
You weren't cheating. That there was some stuff going on. You did mix things around a little bit there, didn't you?
No, I could have made it a little bit more complicated.
There you go.
So yes,
plenty of wooden studs. Obviously, water-filled plastic pipe there as well. Rebar and the copper pipe, which I think you took out.
I took the copper pipe out, but it obviously was situated where the water-filled plastic pipe is. I mean, to be honest, there's probably not much water in there because I realised it was dripping on my fingers. So that's probably more hollow plastic pipe. But that's even more challenging. But you can see here that there's your bowing to the pipe, and it was probably the posters to about here. So you can see there's a slight bow here. It wouldn't have gone as far down here. But even then, it could tell. It could see that there was a. Oh, I realised I was standing in the way. There's a slight bow to it here, but it even detected that slight change in the depth. So I'd try to make it as difficult as possible. Here's your little HDMI, deliberately being a proper lecky, putting it on the angle just to be.
Including sellotape in it. Nice.
Yeah, we weren't going to show this.
Other brands of sticky tape are available.
Right. Okay. Right. So last couple of products, and we're doing reasonable for time. I always get told off that I make these live streams too long. can't help myself, but these products are these products. We could spend ages going into each one of these products. Yeah. So you could argue that the D-tect18V-200-17C is a great upgrade from whatever detector you're using, even if you are already using an existing Bosch product for that 3D scanning function alone. Obviously, it has a few other features, which means that if you are using this device to do something like signal view, for example, it will actually also tell you the material composition as well, which the 12 volt didn't do. It would only show you the shape of the object. It wouldn't give you material discrimination. So we've added a few extra little features as well on top of the standard well-known features of the D-tect 12 volt.
Yeah.
So
it's not just that addition of the 3D scanning.
Exactly. There's loads of additional functionality that, hey, I think we could do an entirely separate video going through it because there's a lot to talk about. But hopefully this covers it, at least for the live stream, whets your appetite, so to speak. Okay. Next product then. I've got it on my side. Yep, so I'll grab it quickly.
Cool. So I shall introduce it. This is the EXLL18V-120-CG. Sorry, -33CG. It's the first time I've got a chance to say it and I've messed it up.
The EXLL18V-120-33CG, obviously.
Obviously, yes.
That's my skill set, that's my party piece, what I used to do another product with a very long name. They're all seriously long names, these cross-line lasers, because there's so much information we want to get in there.
And obviously this replaces the GLL18V-120-33CG.
Good man, there you did it.
You got it in.
Okay, right, so let's start off. Expert line laser, EXLL, 18 volt, because as you can see, ta-da, it has an 18 volt battery on it. 120 is the maximum range that this device works with a receiver. Where's my receiver?
Bear in mind this is a 360 laser, so it's 120 from point to point. So this sat in the middle, 60 meters out.
Correct.
So 60 meter radius, 120 meter diameter.
Correct. This is your LR7, so this will be the receiver that is compatible with this device. This is what allows you to get up to that maximum range. You've got a visible working range, I think around 30 to 35 meters, I believe.
Yeah, that's pretty much standard with any of the line lasers.
It is a generation 3 machine, that's why you've got a 3, and also, as Dan points out, it's a 3-line laser.
Yep, 3 laser
3-line 360.
Yep.
Connected. Bluetooth connected. I've got my phone, so we can show some of the connected features. And also, guess what?
Green. It's green.
Yeah, it's a green beam laser.
Well, it's blue, but yeah,
you know why. It's a long day, yeah? Okay, so first things I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it on, and I'm going to make sure I try not to get anyone in the eye. This is always the complex part of trying to switch on a device without catching everyone in the eyes. You'll see that it has, let's have a cut to the close-up camera if that's okay. You'll see it's got a little interface on here that allows you to select. Didn't get anyone, everyone's safe.
Yeah,
apart from Dan. Dan was staring directly into it, of course.
I'm always staring directly into something.
So you can see here that we've got a little interface that allows you to switch on and switch off, which I'm going to do now. Switch off the lasers that you want. Okay, that seems okay. I'll leave that one on for the time being. Okay, so you can toggle which lasers you want without having to cycle through a whole range of different combinations.
Yes.
Okay, I might point it forward for a second. What you'll see is the actual laser itself is actually built onto this mount itself. This mount is not separate to the device. It's fully integrated, so it can cycle this way, okay, and all the way around as well the other way. So this is great. It's got a really strong magnet as well as some holes if you want to hang that on some screws or hooks again. It comes with additional wall ceiling mounts. The DK20, I think it's what it's called, which is a ceiling clip. Comes with a green targeting plate as well, which helps visibility at longer ranges, so you can see what the laser cross line.
Yeah, just it makes it a little bit bolder at that maximum sort of that 30.
Yeah, should have brought one, but it's not new. It's what all our
standard.
lasers,
They've been around for a long
have.
time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the thing that's important on this particular model, is specifically the fact that obviously, as I said, it's got the built-in mount. Okay. The reason why it isn't removable is if I switch the lasers on, trying to be careful again.
If you do the 2 vertical ones.
I was going to say that one. Okay, right. This one might be hard to show, but you hopefully see that mark there. So if you have a traditional mount where you rotate it, you'll notice that that reference mark is moved completely away.
It's now over here.
Right? The fine, watch yourself down. Sorry. The fine adjustment you'll see here is that because of how the mount is designed, I can twist that to do my micro adjustments.
But it rotates around that cross point here. So the cross point stays the same.
Okay, I've got to be careful. I don't want to damage our cameras as well. So
Rebecca's flinched over the other side.
that's good. That's as long as we're all safe. Right, so the point there is if you have a reference point on the ground, you don't want to move away from that.
Exactly.
You will need to do micro adjustments. You don't want to have to adjust the big adjustments or on a tripod or whatever and then have to reset the machine.
It rotates around the plumb line. Basically.
Exactly. And that is the reason why this device comes with the inbuilt clip, because it's got the micro adjustment angle. Let's see, I wonder whether or not anyone's going to say, okay, obviously we had a previous model, which was the one that Dan said, the GLL. It came with some great features that this also is using, because this is the donor product that is basically adding on that.
That's the donor product that this was based on, yes.
One of the main features for this when we brought it out was that we did some improvements to the inside of the device.
Yes.
Part of it was to make it even more robust and able to withstand more damage or resist damaging from being dropped.
Exactly, yeah. Here I have a see-through version. And you can see here, I think on the close-up camera, if we can get that, in the corners here, like for instance here, and at the top here, you can see those little yellow squares. Basically that is a neoprene material that is used, very high density foam, to cushion the entire inside of this machine. So this, the self-leveling on here is basically all done by this gimbal that floats and is damped by an electromagnet. So that allows it to find level within plus or minus 4 degrees within a matter of seconds. So about 1 or 2 seconds it finds its level. However, when it's being transported, we need to keep that calibrated section of the machine nice and secure. So that's there to absorb any bumps, damages, anything like that that can take place with it in the back of your van.
That's right,
So
yes.
again, and we've also used this as well, this same material on our multi-tools to reduce vibration on there as well. So it's a multi-use material, but it was initially designed for this specific job with this specific machine.
Correct. Now this product also features the fact, also is IP65, which again, this is, although it is an indoor laser, you can be using it in poor condition, especially if it's very dusty or if it's quite damp. You've got high humidity. The last thing you want to do is get water damage to the device, but luckily it is IP65, which means completely dust sealed. And essentially with IP65, you could, that's just rain, basically rainproof as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise it, but yeah.
Yeah, but it is IP rated for it, so it'll be fine.
For it, yeah.
One thing that we've done with this model is the fact that the previous version wasn't compatible with our larger capacity batteries, like our ProCore 5.5 and above.
Well,
That was a decision that was specifically put from the product managers because, as you see, the clamp itself, let's show you here, it didn't situate with a double layer battery very well. Okay, so I could have it here, okay, and it won't allow you to utilize the mount fully. People gave us feedback and said, but what if I want to?
Yeah.
Because I want the additional run time of a higher capacity battery. I don't want to have to be limited to, say, for example, a 4 amp hour ProCore, which again, you can see here, fits in and you've got full rotation of the clamp. Some people obviously...
To be fair, the runtime on that is considerable, especially because you have an eco mode on this as well, where you can dim the light slightly. If you're using a receiver, you don't need that light to be super bright. You can still use the receiver without the light at all.
Yeah, I was going to say that the runtime on it is already really long. I think it's something like 24 hours, I think, on a 4 amp hour battery. Yeah. But some people said, no, but I don't have these batteries. I really want to be able to utilize my large ProCore batteries. We thought, when we designed the original GLL, we thought, no one's ever going to need that. But we have addressed that issue and said, okay, well, if you want to run the battery, then the machine will still work. With the GLL, it actually would flash and would then switch off because we had designed it to not be compatible, and that's a mistake on our side because we were trying to force a way of using a tool on the user by saying, that's excessive, we don't want you to do that, we're going to basically key out the machine. And we backtracked on that, and for that reason, that's why you can see here that you can have a big double layer ProCore battery. You can have a 15 amp hour EXPERT if you want.
I did have one knocking about.
The device will still work, and we've made that decision, obviously, to make sure that you're fully compatible with the entire range of EXPERT batteries.
There you go.
I'm going to eat my words here. Let's have a look. If you want a battery the same size as your laser, then you can.
Yeah. To be fair, the magnet is strong enough on there to support it with a 50 amp hour on it. But
okay,
work out what sort of runtime. That's going to be 3 or 4 days worth of
I mean,
runtime on that laser.
More than enough. But
Yes.
we listened to the feedback from our users that said, hey, this is actually what we would like to be able to do.
Yeah.
So with the EXPERT tool, because it's technically a kind of a relaunch, we've changed the electronics to allow you to run whatever battery, even if it doesn't make sense from us, from a Bosch perspective. So if you're in the market for a high-powered 18-volt, 3-line laser that's also connected, then this might be the great product for you.
Yes.
Now I'm going to run the risk of always trying to do something live, so let me switch these off for a second. Get that to sync to my phone. Right, you're going to have to talk over me while I just set this up then, because I can't multitask.
So what Chris is currently trying to do is connect via the
Measure on
app.
Yep.
And this will give him access to switch on or off each laser aperture at will from a distance. So especially if you're doing something like suspended ceilings where you have the machine mounted maybe up high, you want to switch it off, obviously because you're not using it. You're going for a cup of tea, you're going for your lunch. Then you can do that via the app without touching it, therefore not setting off any vibrations or maybe adjusting it.
Yeah, you don't have to climb up a ladder or something like that.
Yes.
So yeah, thanks Dan. I needed just a minute to set that up. Ollie, if you cut to the overhead for me, please. Okay, so it might be a little hard for you to see, but hopefully that's clear enough that this is the interface of the app.
You don't have to leave your phone on top of it.
No, I've just made that easy for me so I don't have to hold it. You can see the device is currently in standby mode. I can then deactivate that, and hopefully you'll see the lasers are now, where's the laser? There, the laser's now on, okay? And I can go into the operational mode. I've got horizontal. The icons are really clear. Now I've got to be careful not to get anyone. There's your vertical line, and then horizontal line. So you can see that the interface is so easy to use. All the lasers are on. I can put the eco mode on, but more importantly, I'm just going to switch those off so I don't get anyone. Easy. Doesn't seem like it needs more explaining that does it, really?
The eco mode only really kind of dips it ever so slightly, but it does extend that battery power as well, battery life. Yeah.
Cool. Right, okay. Laser done. We've only got one more product to do, and I think we've got about 15 minutes to do it. So before we get into it, shall we say, have we got any more questions in regards to the EXLL18V-120-33CG? Sophia, please.
We've got no specific levelling questions, but people are loving the clear demo product and asking to buy that one.
Yeah, I know. We've got 2 of these for demo. Chris has got one, I've got one. I don't think either of us are going to let them go.
No.
Not available to buy, unfortunately.
But hold on, I've got to remind myself, because I think they are fully operational, aren't they?
Yeah, they're fully operational.
Yeah, there you
they
go.
work perfectly.
They're fine.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe should we do a, what's it called, a limited edition range?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think
one
anyone
is
wants any more editions. Expert and Pro's enough. But if you want
Yes.
a limited edition, Expert transparent one, maybe. Maybe it's a big prize. I'll have to find out. I bet they won't let us give it out.
If we're allowed to, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. So in summary, you've got your.
Actually, it's not got a data label or anything on it.
Yeah. Something I haven't covered, and it's my bad, I forgot to bring it in. This product is also multi-voltage. So yes, you can run 18-volt batteries. However, we also have a 12-volt adapter.
Yes, we do.
And we also have a
C-cell.
4 C-cell battery adapter as well.
Wherever you can buy C-cells. I don't think I've seen many of them out there, but it does take them as well.
Yep. Obviously, the only difference is that you're going to have a slightly reduced runtime. Say, I think it's 24 hours on a 4 amp hour battery. It's about 8 hours on a 2 amp hour 12-volt battery. Yeah. Which is still pretty, still plenty. Good, yeah. So if, I think I saw someone in the chat saying, I think they were talking about the detector, but say, if you primarily only got 12 volt, because you don't have an 18-volt system, you don't need it.
You can use that.
You can still use this, still get the same range and performance, but you don't have to worry about then purchasing a separate line of 18-volt batteries to run it. No. You just need the relevant adapter as a separate purchase to run the machine.
Or with our fast 12-volt charger. Yeah,
of course. As a reminder, 35-meter range approximately, depending on what the lighting conditions are, without a receiver. If you use the LR7, then you can work from 5 to 120-meter radius.
Crazy.
Great bit of kit for sure. Self-leveling time, it's about plus and minus 4 degrees, and it takes it's about 3 seconds, isn't it, to level? I think it's even less.
Even
less in reality. So
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
It was
Oh, well.
level before it stopped flashing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and more important, I say more importantly, one of the really big features again is that fine adjustment. I really like integral bracket, whole bunch of accessories that run it, and more importantly, from my perspective, IP65 as well. Like many of our professional measuring tools, both Pro and Expert, really rugged, and as we say, job site proof.
Yes.
So last question, Sophia, before we move on.
Yeah, we had 2 last-minute leveling questions come in. One was, can we turn the flashing off the new product, and also, is it compatible with the BM1?
The flashing, no, it's not compatible with the BM1. It has its own ceiling fan, mount, and the reason for that is because this is so much wider. It does the same function though. It's still got the same wheel on the side of it. It still hangs the same way. With the flashing function, if you tilt it over, it will flash and then it will stop flashing.
Yep.
So what that will do then is allow you to cast a line at a specific angle. You just have to set the base up for that angle.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, cool.
Whereas the old ones used to flash constantly, which was a bit of a pain. This will stop flashing and then give you that line.
Yeah, I mean, there was questions of whether or not we would do away with the flashing, but as you say, it's there to make sure that you're aware that it is not self-leveling.
Yeah, but it will stop flashing.
Exactly.
Yeah, again, that's what the flashing function is there for.
Cool. Cool. That's the last question, Sophia. We'll move on. Is that okay?
Yeah, feel free to move on.
All right. Off and safe.
Yep.
Should always point out, class 2 laser, ladies and gents. So
don't stare into the laser beam.
Don't stare into the light. Don't go towards the light. Okay. Last products. I want to bring some products for context.
I don't have this one either.
I've got them all.
I've got
all the products for context. So now this was, gosh, was it last year?
Yes, it was. Yeah,
Last year?
yeah, it's quite. Yeah.
I'll look over to Sophia. I can't remember when these came out, but it was a little while ago, but it wasn't a long time ago.
No.
Where we had, let me get the little block of wood.
Okay. You've got the new ones.
All right, so we came out with an entirely new range of products. We've never had these before, of moisture meters.
Yeah,
and
primarily
temperature.
for checking how moist things are.
Yeah, your favourite topic.
My favourite topic.
Your side I was going to say hustles, your hobby. And we had 4 different models here. We had ones that were for temperature and a hygrometer.
Yep. So your ambient temperature, ambient humidity meter. You've got your ambient and pin meter on there as well. So pin and ambient. You've got your just pin meter here. So we'll put it that way around. Sure. So I feel more comfortable like that. There you go. And at the end here we have a pad meter as well. So this one, no pins on this. You just place it on the material. It penetrates to a depth of 30 mil.
That's right.
And gives you a reading of moisture based on that scan.
That's right, yeah. So not only did we have to learn an entire new range of product names because we've never had anything in the thermal and ambient category.
You'll notice I didn't reference any names in there.
No, of course. But we had, we had the GDH, so that's your digital hygrometer, sorry. Then we had our moisture pins probes, and then you had your moisture meter or your pad, GMM. So, let me get this right. GDH 1-17.
Yep.
Then you had your GMP 1-13, GMP 2-15, and then your GMM 1-15.
Yes.
Woo! Hard work learning all these tools, but really comprehensive range of products. However, how about I show you this instead?
What if you need all of these machines to do your job?
How about I present you this product here?
Yeah.
So this is going to be the expert product in this thermal and ambient segment.
Yep.
Take these out of the way.
EXMM3-17.
So expert moisture meter. Okay. So 3. Let's get through it. 3. What does 3 stand for? Well, as we know, 3 means it has 3 sensors. It has. Well, first one is most visible. It's got your pins. You've also got your thermometer and hygrometer at the top here, and
pad meter as well.
Yeah, so you have all. I was going to get it. Let's get them back out here. You have essentially all 4 of these machines, all 3, depending how you look at it. All 4 of these machines are now combined into this one expert machine.
Yes.
The only real difference in how the functionality works. So take the cap off. It's again, you can still store it on the bottom there, nice and tidy. Got little magnets here. Okay, if I power up the device, obviously it's got, it's set on the top there. I might have to go to the super duper close up. I've neglected it quite a bit this, neglecting a little bit this live stream. So hopefully you can see it's got pin mode. And at the bottom, I have this new button. This is the only real difference in the interface between the old models and this model. If I press that, then it now goes to
pad mode. There you go.
Pad mode. So I put my thumb on the back. Yep. There's your value.
Moist thumbs.
All right. I definitely do. Definitely moister than the average drywall. So that's all you need to now cycle between pin and pad mode.
Yeah.
The thermometer and hygrometer is always active.
Yeah.
And it's displayed at the top there. Again, let's go super duper close up. You can see at the top of the screen there, it's given you on the right hand side, or is it your left? You'll see that you've got 37% humidity, 20 degrees, and the mode that it's set for. So you always got the pin and thermometer and
Hygrometer?
Thank you.
Yes.
Long day. Always active.
Yes.
Now, where's our little bits of material?
A bit of drywall, as you're already set up for drywall.
I am actually, and I'm set up for pin, but I don't want to use pin, I want to use pad. So I'm going to select pad. Now I'm going to hold it. The reason I'm going to hold it is because what Dan said there before, which is it has a penetration depth.
Yeah.
And that is not 30 millimeters.
Yeah.
So if I was going to use this on the desk, there's a chance that it will detect some of the moisture that might be in the desk.
Yes.
So I'm going to place it on like that. Okay.
Same reason you don't hold it in your hand like that and check it.
Okay, I can press the button at the top here and that will record the value. I'm going to try and hold it like this for the overhead camera, maybe. There you go. And you can see 1%. The value up there is what I recorded, so I'm going to try and do this and press that button there. Okay, and I can record the value. So I can take that away now and see that there's your little scale that's set to 2%. Is what we've said is what the kind of threshold we're looking for.
Yep.
If it's in threshold, then the value, I'll try again.
It reads in
green. It's going
green.
to be in green. There we go. Got my fit there. So that's my hand underneath it.
That's picked up your hand directly through it, so you can see the depth that it actually scans to.
There you go.
It's drying out as we speak.
It is. It's my warm hands. Now, if I switch to pin, and I'll pass it over to you now, Dan. We've got some material here.
Yes. This one is pine.
That's right.
That's just standard.
So before we move forward, I think it's worth to show how you change between the modes with the left and right controller on the D-pad. I've already set a number of presets. Now I believe it's, if you go to the gear button for a second, Dan, I think it's 38, 37 different
loads
presets.
of different ones in here. So 37 different presets when it comes to wood. You can also favourite these presets as well.
That's
so
what I've done already, yes.
Immediate scan, you've got 3 set up in here already. We've also got construction material underneath. You've got 10 separate construction materials as well. And you've got 3 set up for that as well.
Yeah, so I've already gone into the menus and I've selected the materials that we have out, which is that
You've set up construction wood. You can go down the list. Actually, if you go to the overhead, you can see how many there actually are in this list. If I bring that up slightly. But you can see...
This is just for wood.
This is just wood. But there's all of these different materials that I can pick from. Obviously, with all different values when it comes to moisture content or acceptable moisture content when it comes to woodworking. All the ones with the blue dot on are the ones that Chris has already favorited. And these will come up on the basic of the basic here, so I can cycle through between. I can't actually read them from there, but there you go. If I cycle through, you'll see those different materials that we've already selected for the demo that we're going to do.
There's a question I just saw pop up there while I was watching you do the demonstration from Jordan, which was saying, well, is there a difference in accuracy between pad and pin? And there is.
There is.
The accuracy for pin is basically plus and minus 1%. With the pad, because it's not invasive, which is good if you're working in sensitive materials, but it can't be as accurate. It's plus and minus 4%.
If you've got a nicely decorated room that you want to check for maybe the moisture content of the walls, if you're basically doing a survey on someone's house and they don't want you stabbing pins into the wallpaper, which I can fully understand, then the pad will be the way to go. But there will be a slight discrepancy between the two, just because of the measurement way. However, it will still give you an accurate measurement on that sliding scale as well.
Yeah. When it comes to the temperature accuracy, the delta, it's about plus and minus 1 degree. And when it comes to the relative humidity, on average, it's about plus and minus 3%, depending on if it's on a low humidity, so if it's between 5 and 90%, then it's going to be about plus minus 5%. Sorry, my apologies. Plus and minus 3% for the majority, which is 5 to 90%. If it's over 90%, then the accuracy dips a little bit to plus and minus 5%, but only from 90 to 100%. So that's still more than enough for a multi-use product such as this. Okay, so I've rambled on a little bit too much.
Yep.
So, feel free.
Right, so I've got it set up currently to Pine, European. Now, when it comes to taking a moisture reading over a natural material like this, it's important where you place the pins. So, for instance, placing it along the grain like this would basically give you a moisture reading of just that one set of grain, or that one growth ring, if you think about it like a tree.
It's possible, but it won't. You get a result, but it won't be accurate. Yes.
You want to get more of an average reading over the whole content of the piece of wood. So you'd actually run the test over or across the grain. So if I go to the overhead, there you go. I try and pop this there. So I give that a quick squeeze in there. There you go. So reading comes up. We are at 8.6%, 8.8%. There you go. And that's it. Yeah. So that's perfectly acceptable when it comes to pine. So you're not going to get an accurate reading if you do it that way.
That's all you need to know, yes.
Also, not in an end grain like that either as well. So
we wouldn't advise it, yeah.
I wouldn't advise it. I mean, it will give you a reading, but it's not going to be an accurate reading. You really want to go across the grain rather than with the grain when it comes to a moisture reading.
Yeah, we would suggest that you try and keep the measurements within, keep it away from the last 5 centimetres. I mean, obviously we've got quite small blocks here, but try and keep it away from the edges, as the wood typically will dry faster from the edge. So if you want a more accurate result, then try and work from the middle.
Well, that will give you the worst case scenario when it comes to moisture content. And if you're working with natural timbers, it's important to have the right moisture content when you come to maybe doing a bit of fine woodworking.
And again, same thing again, I don't want to tell people how to suck eggs, but again, you don't want to measure the outer edges either, because that's where water may have collected. But you probably know this already. I think we cover this all in the instruction manual. Maybe again, now that we've got the complete range of our moisture meter range, we can do another, probably a video going through all the different features that isn't in the live stream. I think we did a good job on the live stream when we did the Pro products, and you could combine that live stream and this portion of the live stream, but maybe we'll do one video from all combined, make it nice and easy for you.
So I've now switched over to Oak European. I think you've got a piece of oak there, and again, take exactly the same measurement here with the pin meter. There you go. Push that in. Don't have to push it too far, just as long as it penetrates the surface and makes contact. 7.8%. That's good as well. The uppermost limit is 12% on that. So
very nice.
Again, it takes into account, takes all the guesswork out of it. Do you want to try that on the pad?
Yep. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be really mean, and I'm going to set it for. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to set it on pad. See if I can hold this in a way to not interfere with the data. You can see that if the overhead camera again says, you can see that it's got a slightly different value. It's still within threshold, but then again, that is illustrating that yes, pad is not going to be as accurate, but it's still far better than having to damage the material when you're forced to. Having the option is a really great thing to have, and that's why you'd probably be, if that's what you need, that's why you would be probably wanting to look at the EXMM3-17.
Yeah. Again, it's always going to be more accurate if you can actually do a physical test on it rather than just a scan. But that's the way things go.
Not bad.
That's not bad.
Not bad for time.
That's not bad.
Okay, so Sophia, last few questions. I think we've had a lot of chat, but I don't know whether or not there's many questions before we round out today's expert live stream. Please.
So we did have a question come in relating to this product, and it was whether you can use a temperature probe with this or not.
No K-terminals on this one.
No K-terminals on this, but it does have, because it's got that ambient temperature on it.
And that is a good point. That was something that we had some feedback from someone who was a home inspector.
Yeah.
Maybe that might be another model that comes out with a K-probe adapter.
It would be, you know, it would be nice if you were doing, say, for instance, a property surveying job. You have the moisture meter there. Maybe you want to go up in the loft space and you want a K-probe to put up there, or a open air K probe.
Exactly. No, it's a good.
Leave it there
I was
for a
going to say
period of
it's a
time.
good question. It's something we've considered. It's something that we're
Yeah.
going to send and address with the product managers when we're over in Germany in only a couple of weeks, actually, and we'll ask them, hey, could this be on the roadmap? Is it on the roadmap? We know there are people that are already interested in additional functionality, and why not when we've got our new K probes coming out?
Yeah. Well, we've got the new range of GISs as well. So yeah, it would almost be an amalgamation of this machine and one of those. Would be perfect, absolutely perfect.
Cool.
But, yeah.
Sophia, please, any more questions?
This is more of a general one. We've also had a lot of interest in HVAC tools and whether that's going to be in the roadmap, pipe cutters, etc. Can we expect any of those come in?
That might be something that we could go into more detail in our next Q&A live stream.
Yes.
To answer the question very briefly on this live, we'll say nothing confirmed yet, although maybe.
Yes. I'm biting my.
Yes, nothing official.
Yeah.
Any more questions, Sophia?
Yeah, I've also picked out another one, which is to do with the leads. And it says, does the EXVT come with it and can they be bought separately?
Yes.
Yeah,
If they take leads, they'll come with leads, and they can be bought separately in a small cardboard box.
Which product did you ask for? The GVT?
EXVT, I believe.
EXVT or the voltage tester.
No. The
No, that's
VT
got
doesn't.
that's fixed cables. All the other ones with the multimeter, the
Yeah.
clamp meter, and the other range has a fault meter as well. Then they will they come with the
Yes, just to remind you, if you're unsure, the voltage testers they're integrated and they don't have the terminals to take the probes.
Yeah.
So
That's it.
hopefully that makes that clear. If that was your question. Yeah. Any more, Sophia? Are we done?
They're all the ones that I've picked out for right now.
Okay, right, I'm just having a quick glance down the chat there, see if I can see anything else. Otherwise, I can see we've got some questions about like the 18-volt wall chaser and things like that. Maybe what we'll do is we might address that in the chat. Does anyone like to know if you can add more than 2 blades? Oh, answer that question very briefly.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes,
Yeah.
but no.
Yes.
No, it's
We'd
designed-
love to be able to, but no.
No, the only way that would be able to have multiple blades is if we brought out a specific accessory that's like some of the other ones in the market, that is an accessory that is a combined 3-bladed accessory, because that's not, I don't believe that's 3 separate blades, because we would have to work out, we need the correct spacing, and we won't be able to do that with our current washer system. So hopefully that addresses that one question there for you. Okay, since you mentioned HVAC, Danny, when will we, there's a question down there for you, PF cutters. When you're getting aerometer, measuring air volume, inducting for HVAC units, preferably powered by 12-volt batteries. So yeah, there are a number of products that I think would be really good to expand our tool bag in specific trades.
Flow meters, anything like that would be really useful. Yeah.
Now,
not that I've heard of.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah, that would say we'll obviously we're not forgetting about the 12-volt range. There's always stuff being added to the 12-volt range, but so far as specific HVAC stuff, other than our press tools that we've done, and we are expanding into HVAC quite a lot. Not specifically down with airflow metering, unfortunately, not yet.
Yeah, I see PF Cutters is saying a bummer that we only have a dim light on the meter, which I assume is what was like say the voltage tester and some of the other like the clamp meter. It seems dim to you out there, but trust me, if you are working, if you need the light, because it's dim enough, it's more than enough light to be working close, so you can find what you're looking for.
Bear in mind, we're in a very, very bright studio at the moment, and it might not show up.
And more importantly, it said 800 lumens. Remember, these devices are running on AA batteries or AAA batteries in the case of the EXVT. We don't want to waste the energy powering a light and draining that, because more importantly, it's got enough low energy so you can see what you're doing and you can still maintain that runtime. Because remember, these are not quick change battery systems. They are sealed units for a reason. So, okay, any other questions? I can see there's a few more 12-volt brushless updates on older tools. I think what we'll do is we'll save some of these for the next Q&A live.
I think I'll broach one of them, because I know there's a lot of people been shouting about it at the moment. The 12-volt recip saw. They would really quite like to see a new version of that in brushless.
Sure.
But yeah,
stay tuned.
ears to the ground. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I think that's fair to say. And I think what might actually be beneficial, we are making a decision if the next live stream is either going to be a Q&A live stream, or whether or not, if we are very lucky and if you answer very nicely, maybe what we can do is we can bring forward the brand new T2 product launch live stream. So we can actually hopefully be out, we can talk about the products before they launch. That would be nice.
That would be very nice, yes.
So let us know what you would like, and if possible, we'll see if we can do that. Otherwise, the next live stream will be a Q&A special, and we'll be able to spend the whole time answering all the questions that you would normally want answered outside of an expert live stream.
Does this mean I get to sit down?
Yes, yes, you get to sit down with your house. Okay, right. We're a little bit over. I think we've done pretty good.
I think we did well, yes.
Hopefully we've answered most of your questions. Hopefully I did a reasonably good job of presenting some of the electrical testing devices. I fumbled a little bit at the beginning, but I think I warmed up. I need my lunch and dinner as always.
It's been a long day.
It has been a long day. Other than that, I'm very thank you very much for being very nice to Sophia. They were nice to you, Sophia, right? On Q&A?
No, definitely. Thanks for having me. I've had a great time.
Yeah, so thank you very much for looking after Sophia on Q&A, and hopefully you enjoyed that. So it's a big thank you from myself.
And it's a big thanks from me as well. Thank you.